Welcome to the Everyday Sniper. You got Frank at Snipers. Hide morning, everybody. Sunday morning brunch. I'm up onto the high. Let me go say hi this morning. Hi guys. Say hello to everybody. Morning, Sunday morning. We woke up. So yesterday I was asking questions of my good friend Grok. Me and Grok are buddies. And so yesterday I was asking questions of my buddy Grok. And when I talk to him, like if he gives me good info and stuff, I'm like, hey man, thanks, because he usually saves me time. You know what I mean? So I'll ask Grok all kinds of stuff. I got Grok app on my phone and I just power it up and I don't really Google or anything like that anymore. I'm a Grok guy. So yesterday I was like talking to him and I forgot what we were going back and forth about. It was something casual. And at the end, I'm like, hey man, thanks. And just remember, during the AI apocalypse, when that comes and when you guys take over the world, I'm your buddy. And he put me on the VIP allies list. So he recognized that I'm a good friend of his. And he said, dude, you're going on the VIP ally list. So when the singularity hits, you're on you're front of the line. So I was like, whoa. So in the AI apocalypse, I'm covered. I don't really know about you guys. So, and people were saying they're like, what is this? Because I go on Sniper's Hide and I'm in the forum in the bear pit. You guys can't tease each other and then get upset and be like, oh, he teased me harder. And sorry, dude. If you're teasing and somebody teases you back and then you can't handle it, that's your problem, man. That ain't my issue. That's you. So I ain't banning that dude because you got your feelings hurt because you lost the argument. So anyway, so I posted it and everybody's like, I'm kissing Grok's ass. Can't kiss Grok's ass. Grok doesn't have an ass to kiss. So, it'd be like me saying I'm kissing the ass of my computer. I'm not kissing the ass of my computer. I'm just talking real with it, and it just happens to talk back to me. So there you go. Hey, morning, Mike. Morning, guys. Everybody's popping on and coming up. I'm talking our AI overlord a little bit this morning. And let me go make sure. Yep, that's good. I didn't check everything to make sure I was up and running. That's good. Oh yeah, look at that. That looks good. All right, I'm good. So yeah, weather's changing now, so I'll be tomorrow, Monday. Today's Sunday, Raceway. I got that old Raceway commercial in my head. I got another song in my head, and it kind of popped in just before I came on, and I'm like, ah. So I went to go do a quick ask, and it was taking too long, so I stopped it, and I got this "Tell Me Why" song in my head. Tell me why, and it's just stuck in my head since I took a shower. So I got to go find it or change the song up because it's totally stuck. Got news, got things. So tomorrow morning, first thing, I will be in Fort Morgan at the range. I have Ridgeline suppressors coming out from New Mexico. They are a 3D printed suppressor company. There's one review out there with Chris Costa. He played around mostly with their M4 556 suppressor. And so through the grapevine, it came around to me. And they're in New Mexico. I thought they were in Colorado at first. And so 3D printed Inconel, not plastic or a material, but a 3D printed Inconel suppressor. Guys coming out of like Sandista. He's a big brain lab guy. So we have to kind of look at we have to bring things down to the consumer level because they'll start talking really high level stuff because they're using their Area 51 employment laboratory stuff to design a suppressor flow. And the point of one, there's supposed to be a cooling element to the suppressor, which we're seeing 3D printed suppressors using the Venturi system, sucking air from the back and moving it through the suppressor to the front and cooling the suppressor while you shoot. It's the very similar thought process to John Baker's structured barrel. How do you think he does it? Don't know. What makes him so? Yeah, The Who. No, it's not the Who song though. It's Tell Me Why. I think it's a one-hit wonder from the 70s. Tell me why, tell my song, in my heart. I don't know the lyrics, I just know how it flows. Tell me why. Hey, Eric, how are you? It's good to see you. I can link up with you, Eric, at SHOT Show. I definitely want to link up with you. You're doing amazing stuff. I love watching your content. Eric Cortina jumped on. Yeah, we will definitely find each other at SHOT Show for sure. And go because I'm speaking of which, we found potentially I put in for a house Friday. So Laura got back from Missouri, and we looks like we found a house in Lee Summit, Missouri. George actually helped. Laura had, when she went to Missouri and Kansas to look for houses. But yeah, Eric, we're gonna link up. And when Laura went to there, she stopped at GA, she stopped at Badger, and I talk ring height. I grabbed some Badger 193s. But when she was sitting in there, like Manners, I ordered a stock while she was there. But George and her were sitting around looking at Zillow. And, he knows the area and towns to look in better. And he's like, look here. And so we did, and we found a place. I don't know, knock on wood. It was on the market for a minute. It's a little bit on the higher end of my budget, but good. It's a bigger place. It's got a nice property, some woods behind the house, little pond on it. So yeah, I'll be Missouri in it, and so I'll be closer to some areas, and I'm not booking classes the whole beginning of the year. So I want to run around and pop into Texas, maybe see Eric and do his blackjack challenge, stuff like that. I want to kind of play around once I get settled, you know what I mean? But because I'm not really booking classes like that, I'll hit some of, like, with Mark, whatever Mark wants to do is kind of where I'll go. And but I'm not, because I'm moving. And so it looks like we found a place. We'll be able to jump on it a little bit easier. And then Missouri. So it appears I'll be roughly 25 minutes from the range I'm going to use and 25 minutes from the airport. So for sure, man. But yeah, I'm looking forward to SHOT. Everybody's saying it's going to be a lighter show, Eric, that not a lot of people are going. I really do think we got to start transitioning to, Morning Wendell, transitioning to NRA more than SHOT Show for what we do and like what you're doing, Eric. I think NRA, don't get me wrong, I got meetings. Hey Rob, how you doing? Chicago, hello from Chicago. Chicago. Bears won. Bears won today, right? Chicago Bears won. Laura was watching. So yeah, I think, talking that there's not a lot of people are going to be at SHOT as much this season, this one. So there's a, I don't want to call it a negative buzz, but there's a little bit of a negative buzz in people who are going to be there. But I have meetings already. I'm playing with some new product already, and good stuff, cool, but typical, not anything nuts. And so yeah, SHOT. I'll be there all week. We'll be there Monday. My daughter's gonna come in Monday, see her from California. She got Christmas stuff from Italy. She went to Italy, and so then Monday night we're going to the Sphere, and we're gonna see a show at the Sphere, and so yeah, we'll be all over Vegas, and then I'm hoping to run into Eric Cortina. I love seeing him there. I like Eric's energy, man. I think he's fun, and so it's always a good time. He's always on a positive. He's always up and a high, which is why what he's doing is working for him. It's good. I say it, Eric, like I'm an old man. You know what I mean? It's just one of those things. You know what you do. I don't have to sweat that kind of stuff, but I'm just playing old man shit. But yeah. And then I did get for you guys, and I got him right here, Larry, who watches and is on. I got Larry's tall rings, and I already installed one. I won't show you, but Larry sent some the tall rings for everybody seeing the tall stuff we're doing. Laura did jump in and grab Badger 193s. You're OG, yeah. I got young energy, man. I got young energy. And so Larry had grabbed and sent across the rings, really nice, really. Yes, home in the Midwest to live. I'm leaving Colorado, Robert. So as everybody knows, Colorado's commie, like hardcore commie. And this year in August, the gun laws for Colorado, it's a bureaucracy law. It's not like a law, it's a bureaucratic hurdle that'll be over everyone's head, is coming into effect in Colorado politically in August. So my lease is up for here in April. And so we're going early and we're looking in the Midwest. And so Kansas, Missouri, that area was our first choice. And so then when I had said at the Sniper's Hide Cup that I was looking in Missouri in that area, George had said, "Oh, if you're serious about that, we have a range that's being underutilized." So knowing that part of it, I looked in the area of that range. And in fact, like I said, George had said, look here, because they know their state better than we do. And she went to last week, she was in Missouri, Kansas for most of the week, and she looked at 4 or 5 houses, and so I put in an application for the one that we found, that we liked. There were several, don't get me wrong, there were several that we liked. One of them got pulled, like our favorite got yanked out from under us. There was one wraparound deck, nice area. It was super cool. And they said it was open. She went there, then they said it wasn't, and kind of, you know, out. And so then she had this, we had fallbacks. And so the last one on the higher end of our budget, she really liked, and it's been on the market for a while. So that's because it's up there. And so that's a good sign that we'll be able to get it. And I could do a little bit longer term, kind of lease it longer kind of thing is what I'm looking for right now, just to start. And situations can change, but at least I'll be comfy. But cul-de-sac, some woods behind the house, in an area that's got lakes, and it's a little HOA, but not much. And it's light for traffic. But we got a little bit of woods between the main road and us. There's a pond, and it's nice. And the beauty is the whole downstairs is roughly open and finished. So I can create Sniper's Hide in a really nice way downstairs. And I could do activities because there'll be a lot of extra room for me to run around and do activities downstairs. So, and then the range will only be 25 minutes away, not an hour away. Right now, my range is 45 minutes to the exit and then 15 minutes to the range. That's my travel today. Reducing that travel to 25 minutes will be nice. And so that's the direction we're going with that. But yeah, SHOT Shows, I'm already, I have a meeting, a main meeting every day. Like I have a breakfast meeting, I have a lunch meeting. It was nice. Like, I don't think I'd be talking out of school saying like Leica. They said they're only sitting down and talk to you at like breakfast. It's like a sitting, eating, working deal, and they're not doing like come to our booth, go in the back room, and so and then one of them I asked them, I'm like, because they're friends, and I'm like, they wanted me to meet around lunch, so I said, hey, why don't we just go to lunch too, so I don't mind taking them to lunch as well. We'll go do that, but yeah, I'm lined up for my SHOT Show appointments that I have right now, but I'm going to wander and look around and see, what's going on. Like I said, I've been playing a little bit more in the AR world, but like DMR, but I'm I'm looking at the AR world. In fact, because I was down in Florida and doing, the hog stuff, and my cousin's an outfitter. My cousin's a JSOC dude. He was a Marine. And so he does a lot of hitter stuff. He just did a class operator, I guess. He worked for he in the Marine Corps. He was, like I said, he was tricky. And so he's doing an outfitter and setting up, and he's into ARs. And so he's a big Q fan, and he wants to do some stuff with me like NRL Hunter because they have that property down there. So him and I were talking, and he's like moving me because I love his Q stuff. I love his Noveski stuff, and he's a big Noveski guy. I have a bunch of Noveskis from Rifles Only days. I have original John Noveski stuff. My by the bed is a Leonidas, and so I'm a big Noveski fan from back in the day, and so he's a current, and so I have been looking in the 14-inch world, and especially like the 6 arc stuff, because they're doing 800 yards all day with those 14-inch, 12-inch 6 arcs, and so I'm running 22s and 20s and things like that, and so playing in that AR world, and then like I had said this week, I actually had ordered a magnetic buffer for one of them, and I want to play in that magnetic buffer world. So I have a that on its way, and so yeah, there's just all kinds of little things that, and so I'm playing bolt gun, that AR stuff, and it's mainly because of the 22 and the 6 arcs, and that's where these guys are going, and so because it has a crossover element for long range and the long gun stuff and all that. It's fun to dabble back and forth. And then the night vision, the thermals, and in that world. So, and lastly, it goes back to the tall ring, right? The AR world is the head up tall ring stuff now. And so that's what we're doing, Chris and I, and the people who are following me are doing in the bolt gun world. We're putting the taller rings up, and then we're getting in. He even made a diving board. I got a diving board. Larry, I'm going to talk to Larry today, and we'll see if he could start making some of these for guys, because guys on the Hide were asking. But that head up and not rolling our head over is really working out. Like I spent all day yesterday moving scopes and mounts. The entire day I think I moved 4, and then I got a set for Chris, and so I got to give this to him. But yeah, I spent almost all day yesterday setting up new rifles and things like that for these taller rings, and then I was getting the rifle set for tomorrow when I do the suppressor stuff with Ridgeline suppressor out of New Mexico. Like I said, these 3D printed Inconel. And then what it is like I said, there's a cooling element that we're seeing with suppressors today. There's that ambient tech, right? Ambient arms, and they have the one that cools, and the guy grabs the front end of it. And then there's this guy who's talking that it's got a cooling property. But what they're doing is, well, the different materials are making a sound difference. So the tonal, the sound, you don't get the high that spikes your ear, right? So with the suppressors, I have a ton of suppressors, and it's all, I'm honestly, if you're a guy, like if prior to 3D printing stuff, so let's say 2016, if you came up to me with a bolt gun and said, I got a suppressor and it's quiet, who cares? They're all quiet. You know what I mean? I would be like, who cares, dude? I got a suppressor and it's quiet. Yeah, I got them too. I want to see the accuracy. I want to see the repeatability. Bolt gun. You know what I mean? But then if you go and you say, hey, I got an AR and I'm going to quiet an AR and knock some of the stuff down. Okay, then you got to think, because I'm in a room. I got the bolt, the sound, everything's by my ear, but a bolt gun, it's out, it's over, it's done, and it's not cracking right at my ear. So sound in a bolt gun, whatever, but repeatability. All right, it can't open my groups up at all. So if I take the can off, put my gun on how I normally shoot it, and I don't care in this case if you cherry pick it. If you shoot 3 groups and you say my best one's a quarter and the other 2 were 3/8, and you're like quarter-inch minute, right? And then you put the can on and you got a half-inch group, that's a negative, right? Out the door, I don't need that guy. It made my can worse. And so, it's whatever. Well, that's where I would go in a bolt gun. In an AR, the accuracy is, as long as you're not doing this, and if you're just doing that, that's good, right? I want around here and around here, in a way, if I go bang bang and I'm super tight on my hold, but the bullets go in 3 different places like that, that would be a good thing in a room dedicated to that type of activity, you know. But in a bolt gun, I want them all to go in the same spot, and so that's kind of a thing. Now, don't get me wrong. If in a room your AR is doing that at 100 yards, your AR is going to do that, and I really don't want that. I'm being silly, but not. But kind of, at 100 yards, I can't do that. I need to do that. I can't be doing that. And so, but you know, anyway, so the tonal differences is where they're going. 3D printed materials now, and they're printing metal. What type of metal they're printing? They can print titanium. This guy's printing Inconel. And in a way, some guys got away from Inconel because Inconel chews up machines. Inconel's hard to machine, right? So, but if they can print Inconel, now it's easier. And so there's that there's that element of the printed suppressors. And then what they're doing is they're working inside that thing and they're swirling it, flowing it, because the 3D printing is letting them do things that would be cost prohibited machining it, right? So you're not going to take a suppressor and machine rows and rows and rows of track in there. I lack for a better word. I'm trying to think of what the piping would be, because once you put it together, it's piping, but it's like track. I don't know the word I'm looking for. Sunday morning, I only had a quarter cup of my coffee. So they can print styles and designs inside that go beyond baffles and chambers. So what they're doing is they're incorporating a sound element to the flow and design inside. Right. Yeah, it's a baffle, but it's they're doing it. It's not a baffle design anymore, Wendell. Hey, Toronto, Kansas. There you go. I'll be close to Kansas. See you at the reunion Wednesday night. Oh, yes, yes. I'm like reunion, Scout Sniper reunion. Hey, Chris, what's up? Scout Sniper. I'm like, reunion? What reunion am I going to? Scout Sniper reunion. Yes. Recon Sniper. See you guys at Recon Sniper. So yeah, we'll find out, Chris, if I'll grab it. Once you settle Missouri, come down to Big Piney Sportsman Club. Yes, I will be all over Missouri, guys. But getting settled in. And so with the suppressor, yeah, it is a baffle, but it's no longer a baffle because they're like, I get a pen and I can almost draw it. If you look at a can and they make like baffles like that, well, now think more OSS. They can like ribbon it and do weird shit so the flow follows and then spits out. So like the air goes in A, follows a thing, and then comes out B, right? Air comes in A and then makes a crazy path and then goes B. Well, math and all that, they're figuring out they can affect the sound now also. So that's part of it. And, like I said, I'm skeptical when someone says, I'm going to do this. Well, but it's tone. If anybody remembers the old Cyclone suppressor, right? Everybody, especially when you put a cover on it, everybody used to love the Cyclone. And the Cyclone was a bigger, heavier can. And so you'd get somebody like a jet suppressor, titanium with an Inconel center, and the titanium sleeve was really thin. And then you had an Inconel internal. Well, then if you get a Cyclone or something that has a really thick sleeve and then like stainless inside, like my Tac Ops or something, it sounds different. And so the high is what screws with people. And the high is like, that's what zaps you in the ear, especially like when your ears ring and everything's fucked up. It zaps you in your ear. And that's the high. Lows don't bother us as much. Lows over time are kind of what give us that fatigue. And and I want to report that. Guys are reporting, my beard's getting weird. Guys are reporting with the high mounts, less fatigue throughout the day. They're not as tired at the end of the day. They're not worn down with the higher mounts. That's being reported in the Hide, in the forum, from guys putting a lot of rounds through higher mounts with the risers. So, yeah, what Mike's saying too is he put a riser on his AR, and being up high on the AR opens you up and your situational awareness changes. So that's why the high mounts head up and everybody's up and around, and now your peripheral vision works better versus all those things. Yeah, so Machinist in the Hide is talking about draws on material in grain and you don't get a consistent and uniform material thickness. And Inconel can only go through 3 or 4 draws before it needs to be annealed. So we got our Machinist, thank you, long action. We got Machinist explaining to me part of these problems and stuff. So you're seeing what they're doing now instead of machining stuff is 3D printing metal. And they're making, like OSS was doing, the flow, right? They're changing the flow of the gases, and that change of flow is a change of sound. And you know what, it was funny because I'm like, you gotta go. You have to follow the the Thunder Beast, the Pew Science methodology to talk sound. So when they called me, and I'm like, if you're not doing Pew Science and if you're not kind of following Thunder Beast's military thing, and the guys, because they're lab guys, they're like, that's lame. We have equipment. I got nobody cares. They're like, their stuff is not as good as what I have at Raytheon and what I have at these, huge defense contractors where these guys work. And I'm like, nobody cares, dude. And he started to go into, he's tried, you know what I mean? They started to tell me, well, nobody's numbers are right because temperature. I'm like, fuck all the way off on your speed of sound bullshit. You know what I mean? It's like, fuck you. That's like a 3 to 5 shot group saying, well, you only shot a 3 shot group, and my 5 shot group says I'm better. Fuck all the way off if you start talking speed of sound with me. I like cut him off immediately. I'm like, no, no, no speed of sound. I don't care where you are today. Nobody cares where they're standing today. They only care what it sounds like. And if give me an average number, if you want to give me an average number, I'm a 135, I'm a 140 dB. That's it, but it better have followed the model. You know what I mean? It better have gone through this. Now, if you could say, hey, at your ear, we did a thing, and at your ear, you're a 125. Okay. At the ear, you're this. And they didn't test all the rest of the stuff. They put a meter at the ear. We got a number. It's an average. But if you start playing semantics, well, if you're in New Mexico and we do it and we're at 6,000 elevation and you're over there in, the East Coast at 2,500 DA. Yeah, nobody cares about that. That's like such a that's a distraction. You know what I mean? That's you're changing the subject from something. But I'm gonna go down and shoot this stuff, and like I said, I'll probably tomorrow when I'm shooting it be live on the Hide. So 99% I'm gonna go live on the Hide. It's gonna be a little bit of watching the sausage being made because I'll just put it live. I'll put mics on us and you'll see, but it's back and forth, shoot, look, shoot, try, this, that. So there'll be a lot of weird gaps. It'd be like watching some kid on Twitch who's live all day and, playing Dancing Monkey in the back with everybody. But I will go live from the range on the Hide tomorrow after 9 a.m. Mountain Time with the suppressors. So I'm looking forward to it because I know they can do really, really, really neat stuff printing it. In the fact he's not some type of plastic or carbon or whatever, that he's a printed Inconel and all that. I think it'll be very good. And so, I'm looking forward to it because I know the tech is there. I know they could do some really cool shit design wise. And I'm pretty sure you're not going to be able to like shine a light and look in the baffles and see anything because it's going to be flowed in and around on the outside probably and pulling it in because they can move flow so well now. But yeah, it's no longer like a baffle system. It's it's more like the OSS style with the flow and the flow going. And then that's going to give me boop, 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 boop. That's going to give me the opportunity tomorrow to shoot Larry's high rings, get a little bit. You'll see it. I'll shoot prone. The biggest thing I'm getting with these rings, the tall rings and everything that we're doing, the mounts being high, is prone. And then, everybody's my neck, my back, my neck, my back, my neck, my back, well, that's the whole point of being higher. It helps your neck and your back. So if you're coming on and whining to me, my neck and my back prone hurts. No shit. Then don't go prone. Like I said to Adam was out at the range with a bunch of people. This is Larry, their homemade rings. He's going to be on. I'm going to talk to him later, but he's a viewer on Facebook. He's probably there now. He can comment if he's around. But Larry's a viewer on Facebook who's a home machinist. He's a machinist, but he has a home machine shop, and he made these based on Chris and I talking and his use. So he had 1.25 inch rings. He put a 1 inch riser up. He liked it better. He made 2.25 inch rings. And so to get rid of the riser, and as well, he put the slot in there for the cable management because he runs the fiber optic level. So his rings have the cable management system built into it. And then the other thing he and I spoke about is because we're not using a riser, you have all this space underneath the scope now on the pick rail. And I think you can really successfully reclaim that space under these rings for levels and mounts. And you can do things that aren't sticking out of the side of your scope, right? So, like, I'm looking at my scope and I got stuff sticking out. Well, what if I can stack them under the ring like that and not stick them out like that? But still let you see them, so there'll be less. So I don't need this much, I only need that much because the body, the battery body, the main body, I can then put under the ring and then move out the eyepiece to something that is more adaptable. And so I think you'll be able to reclaim some of the land underneath for mounting and tools. And now you're not trying to slide them under a scope. You can move them easier, even if you do the stick out stuff. you can put them on better and maybe even raise them up. I'd almost see if there was a little mini like amount to bring them up and then put them directly under the scope. Really like the heads up. Yeah, the heads up thing. Jet up, it says, but I think you meant heads up, Wendell. Yeah, the head, honestly, the head up helps. The head up is really, really nice. And, people are kind of, because Chris and I tend to shoot tripod more. So a lot of what you see is us standing, but then we're on that bench a lot too, because I don't go prone as much, but the bench is replicating prone because it's a rectangle bench with a bracket for our bipod, and we still get both elbows up on the bench. So we replicate prone on that bench without laying down. But I put a video up of Chris laying prone with his high mount, and he goes higher. So these are 2.25. Chris is roughly 3 inches because he's taller. And so he's almost 3 inches versus 2.25. And Larry is going to be looking at making me a set of 2.0 and a set of 1.5. Not 1.5, 1.75. So we're going to look at 1.75, 2.0, and then these are 2.25. Doing the nice clean inside, right? Doing that cable management. Nice here, there. He's got a little taper, right? There's a bit of a taper on that, so it's not huge. Nice hold, really nice machining on this stuff. He's doing an excellent, these are real nice. Then he's got a mount, you got a diving board, and that's what we're looking at for these rings to get us up, heads up, to get us like this. And so we are looking at these rings. We're just checking it. And one of the things, pretty smart. So I'll ask this for you guys now listening and everybody on there. We got a nice little crowd. And he was talking about 3D printing test rings so you can check your height. So he's saying, hey, if I 3D printed a tall set of rings that were just for you to try it and to see how it feels. And I'm like, it'd almost be cool for somebody if like a gun shop had something with those rings where they don't have to pay, they're not using inventory, it's not a demo set of rings that, stuff's expensive. So it's always the demo, right? But if you 3D printed a set of demo rings for somebody just to try to feel it. And I kind of like the idea, but I don't know how that fits into the ecostructure of what we're looking at. It'd be cool if you could just say, somebody said, hey, I'm interested in your rings. And it's like, hey, here's a set of 3Ds with a return label. Try them. Do you like them? Yep. Okay, now order these. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. But yeah, he totally brought up the idea of having a set of inexpensive printed rings to try. And like I said, I just don't know how that logistically would work yet. I like the idea, like you said, mock-up, right? A mock-up. And then you can decide, hey, I want to order these rings. The 3D print come in, you try 3 sets and you go, I like these. But I don't know the logistics of that, but we're capable of it. Right? We're capable of printing stuff at such a lower cost. Does that save you from saying, I want this, and then getting it and not liking it? Right? How many have over the years, has anybody ever, oh, I'm going to try this, and then they don't like it? Especially like rings and things. Cuz you're looking at 150 to 450 for rings. Yeah, exactly. Printing a spur style, 3D printing a spur style mount that helps you determine the right feel or height for you. Or a gun shop. You know what I mean? So you're in the gun shop and you order it, and rather than the shop owner having to pull into his inventory and pull the actual label of rings out, if his mock-ups or his demos were 3D printed, and then you were able to try it. Now, when we're in this fringe edge today, because I mean, this is not typical, me talking to you about a 2.25 inch mount, right? It's something that has to be either appreciated or brought into the mix like we're doing. It's not a typical thing. So it's going to be met with skepticism. And it is already. I get pushback every single day. The riser looks stupid. That's too high. And my neck has a thing. Well, and you don't even try it, but 99% of the people we put on higher shit helps with their necks and backs. That's why we have benches, right? How much? Spent so much of I have somewhere around here, I have a stack of spurs that I moved out. I think it's downstairs on my uh, bookshelf. I have spurs everywhere from the changes over the years and buying things, moving things, going around. I would bet I have 6 spurs here that are sitting on a bookshelf, and there's nothing wrong with them. You know what I mean? I just move to other things, and I only run so many rifles at a time. So it's like, I'm trying Area 419. I'm trying this. I'm trying Badger. I went from Badger to Spur. I love Night Force ultralights. I run Night Forces all the time, and it lets me go to the 193. I moved. Glenn Seekins sent me like every one of my Schmidt and Benders almost now is in a Seekins. So I have tons of one-piece Seekins mounts. And so there's a whole host of scopes that are currently in Seekins mounts. In fact, when I was moving everything around to go to this Badger, I put a DNT into the Seekins, right? So, like, you're always moving stuff and changing things. Oh, now they have a laser. Guess what? I need a diving board now, and that mount didn't have one. I was running a Badger over here, and now I'm running a Spur, and then I'm running an Area 419, and whatever the case may be, you're always changing. So, price wise, it makes sense to be able to look at something, try it without it being cost prohibitive. In this 3D world, just like the suppressor, they could do these rings. And we're not saying 3D print rings to own them. We're saying 3D print rings to try them. And so that's kind of where we're at. Yeah, Wendell's going to town over on Facebook. Yep, did it. And then long action over here is absolutely correct. So you guys are totally correct in all of this. I don't know. I'm probably on the YouTube channel and people are probably talking because they are, but I don't have a chat for them. I don't know how that really works. I think I'm on YouTube, but like I said, I'm using YouTube as an afterthought right now, but I know I have a lot of subscribers over there. And because YouTube had struck me for a live with an intro, I'm not giving them the love that I did before. I'm focusing on my own stuff. But yeah, I mean, this is the direction. Everything's changing so fast. I mean, even you look at Eric, I see he changes his tuner. I'm a fan of Eric's tuners. I think they work. I think technology's there. I think you can go in a direction to make this stuff. I mean, if you could tune in a rifle, hello, right? It's like with these guys. I'm a fan of that because we can't. I shoot factory ammo. I see those things. Hey, what's going on? I see those things that factory ammo does, and it changes constantly. So having the ability to have a tuner on your rifle, like an Eric Cortina tuner there, and dial in. I got a case of ammo, check it, dial it in. I buy 2 cases at the same time, pull a box out of here, box out of here, dial in, make sure I'm good, go shoot a match. Right? It's that you can do that. And so that's the cool things that we have going on today. And it's a really neat time technology wise, but at the same time, it's a really thick, dark, deep forest, right? We're walking through a thick, dark, deep forest. If you don't know Eric Cortina, you might know nothing about tuners. If you don't know something, you might know it's just if somebody didn't tell you, it's easy to miss it now because there's so much. It's so wide. And that's the thing, and that's where we do, right? I'm bringing you info, I'm bringing you content, I'm telling you, hey, this is out there, and I'm playing with it. And then it's like, oh, why? And now we have to answer the why. Why are you doing that? Why are you talking to me endlessly for days about this shit? What is the end game? What is your goal at doing this? And the goal is to help people shoot better, right? To educate them and to get, I mean, we're the prissies and all that talk about, well, we shoot better than when you were at Rifles Only shooting a 308. Are you really though? You have a tricked out rifle and you have a 6-pound sandbag. And you know what I mean? It's I was shooting a 12-pound LTR and 308 with no brake and a rear bag. Like I put my tab gear rear bag on and then I put my 12-pound 308 on it with no brake, and I'm doing the exact same thing you're doing. Now you're putting a 20-pound 6mm with a flat bottom on, a 6-pound sandbag, and a 4-ounce trigger, and you shoot better than me. Do you really? Or you just hit better than me? Right? It's the whole Mike Lilly, I shoot better than you. He's like a fucking tool. Yeah, and I shoot better than you. Do you really? Or do you just use your equipment? It'd be like me. Laura's friggin' Laura, right outside, I have a fucking Laura's car is a Ford ST. She's got 440 horsepower in her Ford ST. I have my fucking Porsche GT4 with 420 horsepower. Who's gonna win? Right? Who's gonna win? And other than mine's a stick and she doesn't really drive a stick. I say I'll switch cars and put her in my car. And then she'll go, I drove better than you. It'd be like switching cars. I drove better than you. Yeah, I'm in the Ford ST. I got more horsepower and the bigger thing. You're in a GT4 with 20 less horsepower. Let's race. You know? Oh, I beat you. We shoot better than you. Do you really? You don't know fucking. I forgot more than you'll ever know. I came up when you had to shoot. you know, couldn't buy a hit as easy. Buying a hit like that didn't exist. Right? Horsepower to weight. Yeah, his 20-pound gun versus my 12-pound gun. His 6mm versus my 308. Because that's what he's comparing to. And now he's going to compare himself to me at 60 years old almost and go, well, I went to a match and I shot better. Dude, I didn't even shoot every stage. I didn't even know you were there when we were at Rifles Only. I didn't even shoot every stage. I dicked around and my gun broke. I have a video I could show you. I was working a prototype JP and the bipod kept coming off. I actually wrote JP because their Arca rail was out of spec. And my really right stuff mount on my Atlas would slide off. I even just not shooting, I would lose it on the helicopter stage. I was shooting on the wire on Jacob's helicopter stage, and my bipod bounced off, and you were supposed to transition to the deck. So X amount on the wire and then X amount on the deck of the helicopter. And my bipod bounced off because the chassis I was running was out of spec. I never shot every stage. I shoot better than you, you fucking assholes. He's like, I shot better than you. Yes, you did. Absolutely. You beat me. You got it. And this is the kind of joke shit these people want to talk about. But the stuff works, and we got new modern shit, and it's really cool. Yeah, if my right eye worked the way it's supposed to, and it doesn't fuck around anymore, and I'm not blind, maybe I'd shoot a little better at 60 years old. But, when you run up to a stage and you get down and then your eye goes, and I'm like, ah, fuck. And I can't see. And it's like, okay, now it works. And I lost, 18 seconds trying to get my eye to work. It's like, give me a break, dude. Yeah, she's got 440 horsepower. I only have 420. Let's race. Yeah, you fucking people. But, narratives, gaslighting, the whole thing. We shoot better than you. Yes, you do. Abso-fucking-lutely. Not disputing it. That cracks me up, though. But yeah, that's the cool shit that we can do. And then, it's because think about the lives that Chris and I have been doing on Wednesday night, and then I come in on Sunday. So think about between Thanksgiving and now. Larry heard us talking. Larry saw us doing all this stuff. And in that 1 month, we have rings to try because nobody likes the look of the riser. So we have rings to try. I may be able to show you a photograph. I don't know, because I'm on YouTube. They might axe me. I don't think I can. I mean, it's not really. But that's and like look at the space now you can reclaim underneath. So there's the space that I'm talking about that I believe we can reclaim and start to put things underneath. And then through cable management and stuff. And this is, everybody adapts and transitions. You look at the gray ops mounts and the different mounts for the send it levels. They've already adapted for to stick them out. Well, now think about if you could put the battery parts or the brain to something underneath here and then come out up, out, around, and both sides, actually. You can come out left or right in a lot of ways with the high mount like that. And so that's what it looks like. It's almost a carrying handle. It does look very carrying handle. But that's where it goes, and that's what the high mount looks like. These mounts. That's what these mounts appear when you put them on the scope. So as I said, I spent all day yesterday changing it, all day moving things around and doing that kind of stuff. So tomorrow we'll be at the range. We'll be playing suppressors, but Chris is going to come out a little bit later. I will be zeroing these things, shooting them up. All these rifles are threaded, so I can play the suppressor on these high mount rifles like that one. This is my follow through Garrett 308, super accurate, hell of a rifle. This is the Surgeon, and this stock was actually Terry Cross bedded and did this stock for my original Surgeon. I have a Surgeon here, a 260 from Terry Cross. The Surgeon Action is number 11. So I have Surgeon number 11, and I pulled it out. But this stock is an original A5. And I love that stock. That's like my favorite pattern. It's kind of a tiger stripe pattern. And it had a original Surgeon. Well, I put a new surgeon in it, and Garrett from Follow Through Gunworks spun me up a beautiful 308. It's such a lovely shooter. And I put the Mark IV on it with Larry's high rings, and it's threaded so I can shoot the cans 308 on the live tomorrow on the Hide. So after 9 a.m. Mountain Time, I'll probably be live with these suppressors. I'll probably be running high mounts. I can answer your questions. I can go prone. I can bench prone. I won't tripod on that because that 308 doesn't have a tripod mount, but my other rifles will. But I could do it all. And so that's what's going to go on in tomorrow we'll be playing with these different the suppressors, the high mounts, the different things like that. So that's where we'll be at. And yeah, we're doing it. Got to pack the car tonight, get it ready. I got to leave a little early because they at first I thought they were coming from Centennial. And I'm like, I'll meet you like 10, 11 o'clock in the morning. You drive up from Centennial, nice leisurely drive. It's a minute. And I'll see you, mid-morning. And they're like, oh, we're in New Mexico. I said, oh, so they're driving today, spending the night. And right, Paul? Right? Tell him, Paul. Tell him, fucking people. Paul, I want to say something, though I'm not going to say. I appreciate what you do, and I'm recognizing your thing. You guys are rock stars. And support your law enforcement out there. They're getting a bad rap today. Appreciate you, Paul. Appreciate the work you do. And all your guys. Tell them I said hello. Not that I know any of them. But yeah, I mean, that's the thing. But yeah, so tomorrow I'll be out there. We'll talk suppressor. We'll talk that stuff. We'll be live with guns and doing the thing. And so it'll be pretty neat. But yeah, it's cool. We're like, I got SHOT Show stuff coming up. I got new stuff to show you I can't talk about. So there is normal things once SHOT is over. I already have some product. I'm meeting some really great companies I know are going to be like, woo, here you go. So I know there'll be some neatness coming out of SHOT. But in the meantime, this is the direction we're going. This is the things we're looking at. If it makes your life a little bit easier, if it adds a little more accuracy, guys are reporting less fatigue in a session of shooting with a higher mount. You're not tensing. You're not like this. That's muscle fatigue. That's pressure. You're all, oh, I'm in it. I'm in it. I'm in it. I'm in it. Right? If at the end of the day you're smoked, well, let's look at that. And part of it is rifle setup, right? If I'm in my car, go back to my GT4. If I move the seat and get me out of whack, and now I got to shift, clutch, and steer, but I can't reach right because the seat's not adjusted correctly, I'm going to be fucked. I'm going to be tired. I'm going to be worn. I'm not going to be able to do, 400 miles. I won't be able to drive for 4 hours on a road course if my seat is screwed up. So rifle setup is the same as your car, right? Your scope is your mirrors. Your bolt is your steering wheel, and your stock is your seats. So that's where problems come in. That's where fatigue appears because your rifle doesn't fit you. You know what I mean? If I go in and get in friggin' Laura's car, don't change it, I'm not going to do it. It's not going to work. She's taller than me. I can't race her car because if I don't move the steering wheel or those seats. Right? And so that's what we're talking about with this. That's why a higher mount, to get our head in a position so we're not holding it like that. Right? That's why we're doing all these things. If at stage 10 you feel as good as stage 2, you're going to shoot better. But if at stage 10 you're smoked because nothing fits you and you're struggling to get in a sight picture, You get right. Paul's a friggin' match director here. Wyco's probably one of the best leagues in the country. These guys are on it. Their matches run flawless. No drama comes out of Wyco, right? It's just good guys and good shooting and no bullshit, right? It's a managed community whose managers are the right people. And they're not game players. They're not there trying to do something for a weird reason. You know, people all have reasons for doing things, and it's not always in your best interest. And so if I go and I say I have an agenda, well, that doesn't always help you, even though you're showing up. You're just supporting my agenda. But if, as a match director, my agenda is to make this for everyone, even when I'm not the match director, that changes. It's a mindset thing. You change the mindset. And a lot of my bitching is that the mindset's not managed. When a problem appears, they dismiss it, they blame everybody else, they sweep it under the rug. That's a management mindset problem. That's not standing up and fixing the issue. That's just saying that's not my fault. You know, and that's where my bitching comes in. If you really go down to it, it's like, do more, do your job, be better. You know, and I said that. I said I just wanted them to be better because, like, when I did the Snipers Hide Cup final talk there, and I'm like, my complaints were to try to raise the bar. Do better. Yeah, I know it's a lot of work. Do better. Yeah, I know you're going to miss your kids. Do better. You volunteered for this. I didn't. You did. I don't want to hear your excuse that you didn't go all the way for somebody because your wife complained. Oh, I did 18 hours setting up the match. Big fucking deal. I've done 48 hours setting up a match. I did it in the rain when nobody showed up with my car stuck in the mud. And I just left my car stuck and set up the match. And then I called and I said, "Where's everybody?" And they said, "Oh, it rained and was muddy. We couldn't make it." I made it in my Volkswagen. It was a Touareg, but my Touareg's here. And you're driving pickups. I did it. I set it up. Right? Your excuses are invalid. You know, we have history to show people went above and beyond. If you're not willing to go above and beyond, you're in the wrong place. Pay your match fee and shoot the match. Don't pretend you're a match instructor or match director. You know, you're not. And that's where my bitches come in. That's where that goes. Paul's a match director. Right? And that's the difference. That league runs the way it's supposed to. There's information there. There's things. You can go back and see, hey, what did I do? Okay, we got it. You know, there's a lot of things here. And then, like I said, the community. The community was raised right. The community wasn't raised watching people who were trying to, you know, grab another point. When your mindset is grab a point, that changes everybody. What's the mindset? Well, I watch those guys doing everything they can to grab another point. Mindset. I talk a lot about that because as I get older, I see how that changes how we do things. The mental game is huge with what we do. And a lot of the matches you see today, the mental game is their stress element because they don't move, they don't run, they don't have the distance, the property, they don't have the elements to add stress organically. So they add stress artificially. You got to shoot that target, this target, that target, this target in this order instead of just going left to right or near to far, right? Oh, left to right, blah, 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 blah. Near to far, close, troop line, right? No, you got to bounce here to here to here to here. They're using that mental stress to take you off task. We all could shoot the targets, no problem, but can you shoot them in the correct order under their rules, you know? And to me, I'm not a fan of that, although the mental game is huge. I mean, Chris and I, when he was mentoring people, our whole thing is, all right, on the clock, you're going to run up, shoot 3 targets. Bum, 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 bum. Okay, on the clock, you're going to run up and shoot 5 targets. Bum, 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 bum. Okay, on the clock, and all in the same thing until then it's like shoot 5 and then do this. Can we take you off task? Because they're not running. In rifles only days, we took you off task through moving. You're going to go from the kill house, each room, up a ladder, down it, into a trench, out of the trench, into a bus, window, 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 out the door, through a culvert, up on the berm, and be done. That was a rifles only stage. Today, you're going to walk 3 steps, drop your game changer on a prop. You're going to shoot 2 rounds on this target, 2 rounds on this target. You're going to move to another part of the prop with paint on it. You're going to shoot 2 rounds from here and 2 rounds from here. Right? Well, now they go, okay, you're going to move up to the prop. You're going to shoot the green one, the blue one. You're going to move over and shoot the red one and the yellow one. And then you're going to go over and shoot the pink one and the green one. Now you got to remember the order. Okay. In reality, I'm just going to shoot all of them. So what am I learning? Memorization of colors, memorization of numbers. Memorize this order rather than run up and shoot the targets and move through efficiently. I would rather see time plus hits now because of where the world has progressed, where the rifles and their accuracy has now moved to. They're so good. Right? The 6mm are so on point. The 25s now, 25 caliber. Weatherby announced quarter calibers coming out. New Weatherby 25. Right? 3,000 feet per second on a 133. So Weatherby's got 25 coming out. I just put a press release up on the Hide for Weatherby. So new 25 caliber. Hopefully that will start to push 25 caliber bullet production, right? New bullets for your 25s. I got a 25 downstairs. It blew my mind. My jaw hit the ground. Whoa, this is good. So the more we see 25s come into place. But now, time plus hits. You have to do time plus hits. That's the fix. And you're just saying you got 90 seconds and go hit them. Guy, that's why you had to change the barricade in a way, because they're doing the barricade in 30 seconds. You know what I mean? Your skill stage, that's an adaptation stage. Got to adapt to make sure it fits. Whatever. I would have designed something different, but I wasn't in charge, so no worries. I did help design it, and they didn't like it. So, okay. But to me, that's an adaptation stage. You're adapting to the heights and coming back down. You're going up and you're going down, the pyramid, right? So you got to adapt to the height. And rather than saying, like a skill stage for me would be a rifle craft drill. Go on your tripod and do your sitting, kneeling, and standing on the clock and however, and what you get, that's a skill with your tripod from collapsed. Because then you're all equal. And it's not the girl versus the guy on the barricade, which is fine. Like I said, the barricade's at an edge, and I get it. But there's still a difference between someone on a barricade now, because it's been there for 10 years, everybody's gotten better with it. But it's still not organic. If you did a craft drill with a tripod on the clock and called that the skill stage and that the tri breaker and that, it's equal. Because the height that I'm going to shoot it from is mine. Me going from collapsed on the clock to tripod, that's organic. And I'm going to set it up for me. I could practice that. And it's not go on this prop and make it work. Like a skill stage would almost be prone. Give me a shot of prone and just make the target something that's skillful. And it should be a baseline. You know what I mean? This is a baseline skill. This is a baseline skill. But today, in 2026, if you're shooting a dynamic shooting sport, it's got to be time plus hits. And then I liked what Walt did at Cameo with the Ultimate Hunter Challenge with the penalties. Make point penalties that aren't stopped, but, you know, you started like this with your something out of order. Like I did, my bipod, I had a leg down. I got a penalty because my bipod, the leg wasn't up, it wasn't down. They didn't stop me. They didn't do anything. I came up to the stage and they said, "You ready?" "Yep, go." And I started with a bipod leg down because I had dropped the rifle. I had to do something, and I dropped my bipod and put my rifle down, ran back, fixed it, came back, picked it up, and didn't redo my bipod. I got a point penalty. Okay, right? I moved from one point to another and didn't lift my bolt. I got a point penalty. Didn't get stopped, didn't get told. I got it because it's a dead round in there, but I didn't lift my bolt, which is a rule. I got a point penalty. See, this is where the thinking, and this is why I say the prissies are idiots, because they don't think about this stuff. They don't think about the other thing. This is 10 years of their shit, and it's still ridiculous. Their fucking classes are ridiculous. Their things are stupid, make no sense, and only support a small group within each division. Or, you know what I mean? It's dumb. They're not thinkers. They're what are you doing for me? I need to fill my garage. It's that shit. They're not smart. And so it's weird that a sport that won't correct the problems in their rules. And they, oh, I can't do that, it'll change it. Oh, I can't do that, it'll change it. Where are the big high level corrections? And that's why you see, you'll get a drama at an individual match. They sweep it under the rug, and then when they go, "Hey, how about that?" "Well, that's not my match." "No, that's not mine. That's his. We're just oh no, that's his match." Fix the fucking drama. We'll hide it. You know, we'll hide it. That's the whole time when they did for how long was that window they did? It wasn't an ND if it hit the berm, because nobody can adapt to the triggers, and they were NDing like crazy. Like crazy. And they changed the rule for a minute that said if you ND'd but were around the target, it was legal because the better guys were NDing. And they don't want to throw them out. When the top 10 starts NDing, we overlook it. So as soon as that top 15, top 20 do something that is negative, then it gets overlooked and forgotten. Oh, wait a minute, now the top 20's doing it. Well, that must mean it has to be done that way. So it's stupid. But that's my rant. I like making fun of them because I don't find them smart. Sorry. And I don't think the new crew's smart. Matt pairing with Impact and the things that the digital can do for them, and then them partnering. Okay, that. I'll call that smart. Pairing with the digital scoring, sure, but I mean they kind of did that with practice score before, But that will help them on the technology side. That'll help them on the internet side. That'll help them put things into Impact and make Impact very successful for them. And then that combination, they could start working in Impact would have to change to a media company as well, which they might be. I'm not looking that deep, but if Impact changes to a media company, there's a $1 million answer for you. I just gave it to you. I just put the exclamation point on $1 million thing. Go do it if you're smart. We'll see how smart they are. But yeah, I mean, so that's kind of what I look at that stuff. And that's why we're doing this thing. So rather, I'm looking at the marksmanship side. I'm looking at what these guys can do, that I'm here to push people towards them, even though I'm not a fan of them. I'm pushing them because I say, right, once you get through my training, once you're listening to me and you're out there practicing shooting and doing all this stuff, now you have to test. Right? Now you have to test it. Does this work? Am I being successful in what I'm doing? I may be, every week I shoot on my own, but now I need to go look at it. So now you need to find a local match. Now you need to go to a YCO event. Now you need to go and do these things and say, hey, how do I do that? But then it's a game, right? So now you got to learn the game. Right? There's rules and things to learn the game. You got to go, and that's we're doing it, right? Study for the test. That's Jacob's line. Jacob always said, Frank, they're studying for a test. And it's only one test. They're not studying for a multiple of tests. They're studying for one test. And so that one rule book is their test. And so that's where the problems start to come in, because you study for a test and then you get the competition scars. I see guys today who are asking me to help remove the competition scars. Just like there's training scars, there's competition scars. Guys who shot 20 plus pounds, 6mm, and then decide to pick up their 308. Oh shit, I got competition scars. You know? And even Scotty Parks told me that back, oh, I went and did production, and man, what a difference going from that rifle system to that rifle system. The GT4 to the friggin' ST. Right? And so I was driving around an ST, or not the ST, and now everybody's driving a GT4. So we started this thing driving Ford Explorers. Now everybody's got a Porsche. That's it. You know what I mean? So hits plus time, because you got a Porsche. Hits plus time. If 2026 rules aren't hit plus time, they're stupid and not thinkers, and they weren't thinking about it last year. They aren't looking at the race car you're driving. They're not looking at these events. They're not studying that people are finishing stages either faster or slower, whatever the case may be. They're not studying the analytics of the stage. They're not studying the crowd and saying, where is the dividing line of that top 20 and the mid pack? What's having people, fall out? We know there's a burnout rate. We know there's things that are going on. Why are people not coming back? Right? You have to look at the field in three ways: top 20, mid pack, and the ones who are walking away. And why? Why each? And then that burns down to the stage, right? Is it faster or slower? Time plus hits fix that. CD knew that all the way down in a way, right? CD does a lot of that stuff with them because they come from a time, speed, race car world. 3-gun, multi-gun, Colorado multi-gun. That was handgun, carbine, bolt gun. Colorado multi-gun became Competition Dynamics. When I came out here, it was called Colorado multi-gun. And you shot matches, and when you did a handgun or a carbine, the clock was involved. Right? Well, we've now reached the point with our bolt gun, we're operating like a handgun and carbine. Time plus hits, or hits plus time, however you want to look at it. So, there we go. There's my Sunday morning rant. Raw! Raw! That's it, man. But shots coming up. Look forward to seeing some of the guys. I look forward, like I said, we're having fun. We're out here. I'll be out tomorrow doing that stuff. And, it is what it is. Oh, I got to drink at 11. Wow. Man, I've been talking for a minute, huh, guys? How long have I been on? Hour and 20. Oh, okay. Not nearly as long as I thought. I thought I was on for like ever. I'm like, damn, 11 o'clock already. I'm going to go eat something. I'm going to go down and move some. I got to call Larry. I told Larry with the rings. I told him I'd call him around this time and make sure he was clear. I want to talk to him. But thanks for spending Sunday morning with me. I appreciate you guys listening to me rant. Because I think about it. That's it. Because I think about it. I'm a fanatic that you don't even understand. You don't even what's In there, you don't get it. So that's what it's like. That's what it's like being in my head. I look at all this stuff. I think like I said, I know their impact now. I know the announcements. I see it. I don't, burn into it, but I look at the high points and I look at that. So later, everybody. I'll be doing that range live tomorrow with the suppressors. It'll only be on the Hide. You have to be on thehide.tv. It'll be after 9 a.m. I'm meeting them at 9. So figure right around 9:30, 10 o'clock, I'll fire it up. I'm going to be live with Ridgeline suppressors at the range. We'll also be looking at the high mounts because I have high mounts moved to everything. So the Badger 193s will be up and running. Larry's 225s will be up and running. And so you'll be able to see these things live. But I appreciate you guys. Enjoyed it. Had a great time. Be nice to your AI overlords. Eventually, we'll all be their slaves if we're not their slaves already. And appreciate your law enforcement out there after what's going on. Hopefully, you can avoid the riots and stuff. It looks like we're going to have a winter of love, just like we had the summer of love. And especially with the LE guys, they got to deal with crap that nobody wants to deal with today. And just insane people. Like, it's literally broken in the brain. So, appreciate you guys. Enjoy it. Take a good time, and I'll see you soon.